Dear sir, yours truly, Jen. Mr. Barnum, I do believe that God can take the mean things of this world, the cruel and wrong things of this world, and make them into something beautiful. Contribute to the good of humanity. Believe me, it is a great gift of God's mercy. God bless you, Mr. Barnum. Thank you very much, you beautiful audience, for your grace and hospitality this evening. The Nightingale will sing her last song.
An one crede
managed my own tour here in the United States. I was looking for new ways to use my voice for good, and of course, my Redeemer sent me a message from heaven. Harriet Beecher Stoll attended my concert in Cincinnati, Ohio. She found me after the concert, and I'll never forget what she said. She said, "The time has come. Any woman who can speak a word for freedom is bound to speak and will not be silent." With her book, Uncle Tom's Cabin, she dramatized the evils of slavery. She popularized the anti-slavery movement. She simply wanted people to know the truth. For slavery is the essence of all abuse. Upon reading this Uncle Tom's Cabin, I wrote to her saying, "I hope that you can fall asleep today and tomorrow with the bright, sweet conscience of having been a strong means in the Creator's hand of bringing essential good to one of the most important questions for the welfare of our Black brethren." I was inspired to help. I donated part of the proceeds of my tour to help free enslaved families in Washington, D.C. I will always admire Harriet. She taught me what it means to be a woman and how to use my voice for the good of humanity. She changed my heart. However, to me, my voice is still the same, which makes me beside myself with joy when I think about what I might be able to do.
Dimension gets bigger and more exciting. It's been wonderful. But she's the author of this. She's the one that has shaped it and lived it and discovered it. And it's just been my pleasure to interact and be a part of it. And an extra special pleasure to get to play as a part of this presentation. So you may be curious and interested in talking a little bit about the process. Some of you may have done one-person shows as well. And I know that Shelley is able to articulate those things so well, so I'd be open to that. The other dimension to this that is very special to us as members of the Augustana community, the Lutheran tradition is still there as a foundational part of the college, although it is no longer a confessional religious school. But one of Luther's great legacies is the concept of vocation. And vocation is something richer than just career. Vocation has to do with like a personal density, a sense of what I'm here to do. And so this is a story about a vocational crisis, when I'm busy doing something and then I suddenly realize this is not what I want to be doing. And I think there's a lot of that in the world. people that suddenly find themselves in places where they feel. And so that's been a real exciting thing to be a part of telling that story, because I think we're interested in finding where that resonates in the world. So if there's things about that process that you would like to discuss, we are very interested in hearing how that lands on you. But I suspect, given this group, you're maybe more interested in the process, which is ongoing in some sense, but which is gradually gelling into something that we love. So, yeah, I'll open it to any comments or questions that you may have, things that you would like to ask.
Can you tell other stories of great women?
Yes, so I wrote La Divina, the last interview with Maria Callas, in 2010, and then I brought it to the conference in 2017, and Ross Ostman was my amazing accompanist for that experience, and then that production has gone on to Orlando Fringe, off-Broadway, and it has this wonderful, beautiful life of its own. And so this show kind of came out of that in a sense. I had a reviewer say, it was when I did La Divina in Moline, Illinois, which has that Swedish heritage, and the reviewer said, you know, seeing this production made me feel like maybe this is what it would have been like if I were to experience Jenny Lind. And I looked at that and I went, well, I wonder if there's a story there. And then I started digging, and she came to perform at my little podunk undergrad in Hanover, Indiana, which is like, there was like one of her stops in Indiana was my undergrad in Fitzgibbon Hall, where I learned how to sing, and I found like the archive of the recitals, and I went, okay, this is a sign. There was an email, you know how if you're in academia, you get thousands and thousands of emails all the time. And so there was this little email that came out about this grant in Scandinavian studies and interests. And I sort of remembered it, sort of not. And then after the review, after, you know, finding that maybe there is a story, I had about 5 days, maybe a week, to write the grant in hopes to get this. So I went, oh shoot! So I feverishly called Michelle. I said, would you be interested in such a project? And she already had this immense knowledge of Jenny Lind. I mean, she's so multifaceted. She directs, she plays the piano, she sings, and so she had all of this already in her display. I went, okay, I need that. She's on board. The stars are aligning, so we ended up getting this grant back in May of 2021, and we've been working on it since then. Long roundabout answer to say yes.
Can I ask something further?
Yeah, sure.
Making this, you know, just generally answer. So I always find that stories of women and strong women are both inspiring and I don't know what the other word is, but that I think it's important that we recognise in history that these strong women have always been there, and that's inspiring. But at the same time, it makes you go, oh, fuck, it's still like that. Which sort of makes you a bit like disheartened. So how do you, like, being people that deal with students and, you know, maybe you do workshops and stuff like that, like, do you address this kind of thing, or how do you feel about this kind of thing?
I have an answer.
Go for it.
One of the things I loved about the workshop that we did this morning with Animal is these freezings of vignettes, tableaus of problems. Because one of the things that I think this generation is particularly challenged by is an impatience, thinking that they can wave a magic wand, that their intention is suddenly going to transform everything. And that was the most moving part of that whole exercise for me, is the having to freeze in that position for a painfully long time. Because I do think patience is an incredibly important virtue when it comes to actually addressing the problems of the world. Humility and patience. Humility being, I cannot change this by myself. Yeah. And patience, I think, has two things that feel very important to me. One is that I'm committed to living in the real world, being present even if it's painful, and not just escaping into some utopian world. I'm going to stay here. And the second is that I will seek, to the best of my ability, to absorb all of the irritants about it without allowing them to paralyze me. I'm not going to lash out, because that's not going to make it better. But I am, in fact, going to consistently and steadily work in that direction. And it seems to me that just telling these stories, telling them as authentically as we can, as inspiringly as we can, just letting them be known, and being that kind of presence in the world, I don't know if it gets better than that. I actually don't, and I'm not saying that in any defeatist sense.
Yeah.
I'm saying that's good, and there's an endless amount of good work to do. So we just better do it.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
I think those stories also have some elements at some point of hope
Yeah.
and
That's
good change.
Right. Yeah. Thank you for the question.
Thank you, that was great. I mean, my only thing to add is that, I see, with Maria Callas I saw it, and then especially with Jenny Lind, all of the literature from the American side of things was that she was this Swedish girl that came to America, and she had this love affair with P.T. Barnum. None of that is true. I was called back for the role in the musical Barnum in New York City, and I had bright blonde hair, and they called me back because I had bright blonde hair and I could sing soprano, because they were leaning that hard into the Swedish stereotype. And the whole side was just me being stupid, and P.T. Barnum going, "Oh, aren't you cute?" And so I was going, well, this is bizarre, because the research I did, and so that's been part of it. It can feel discouraging, but then there's this I'm on a mission though. I'm on a mission. Because, she, in 1850, to be her own manager, that's huge in 2023. Now let's go back to 18, and to be an immigrant in America, a female, being her own manager. Huge. That statement's huge in 2023. So that's something that's I always have to go through in my mind. Wow, this is really, really inspiring. But I totally understand the. Yes, yeah, I understand that. Yeah, oh yeah. A lot of sense memory there.
I just wanted to say in the first place, thank you for sharing the story. On the first place, for addressing the story of the hidden story of a woman that we all know that they are always in the second place in history, and on the other hand, for addressing the topic of vocational crisis, that it's very present, but usually not addressed towards artists by the people that are not artists. They think that when you found your passion for music or your passion for acting, then it's all up and until you succeed and you go to Hollywood, and it's really a path of ups and downs. And we talked about it at the breakfast this morning, that maybe for your friends, success will be when you make it on TV, and then for other people it's being able to do their own pieces in theater. And also not only for addressing vocational crisis for artists, but also what you mentioned, the general impatience of this generation and the hustle culture that you mentioned this morning, corporate, we all have to strive to be millionaires, and that it's something very toxic, and thanks for addressing this idea.
Thank you. I always feel I'm an actor. Oh, what can I see you in? What TV show? I don't do that. You're a singer. Oh, were you on America's Got Talent? No, I was not. It's fine, but I was not. I get, that's my little tidbit on that.
Can you tell us about your source material, where you found the other side of this that is